Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Em and welcome to episode 6 of Wheel of Doom Picks, my audiobook. So this is a monthly series that I do on my channel where I am just desperately trying to whittle down my Libra FMTBR because it is extensive. I was a bookseller for 3 years and then I have been a social media manager for an indie bookstore for a long time. 7 years? 6 years. I don't know. It's been a time. So I have a lot of audiobooks and they need to be read. And this month I'm trying something a little bit different. I have taken all the audiobooks that I have acquired in the month of in the month of September throughout the years, and I have put all those titles into a wheel and we're going to spin and see which books I get. If you want a up-close look at the titles that are on the wheel, you can check out this video that I did a couple weeks ago where I went through all my possibilities and narrowed it down to the books that I was still genuinely interested in reading. And we're going to go ahead and give it a spin and see what my first book is going to be. Now, I will say I had someone reach out and tell me that The Examiner by Janice Hallett is not their favorite on audio because it is told through emails, and those don't always work for me on audio because I find hearing, date, time, emails, like all that listed out every single time to be really repetitious and really boring. So I have placed a hold on that at the library on the off chance that that pops up because I do want to read it, but there's some books that don't, I think, translate as effortlessly to audio as we would like. Now, let's talk about what I'm in the mood for. What in perfect dream world, what would I want to pop up on the wheel? I have three that I'm really on the fence about whether or not I want to read them. That would be Iron Widow. I'm not so sure it's going to be for me. And Monsters Born and Made, I'm not so sure that I'm going to like. And Dominicana. Like, those are the three that are probably the lowest on my interest level. And maybe should have been books that I cleared from the queue. But there's enough interest that I wanted to keep them, but not so much that I'm really hoping that they come up. And then Mordu, I really want to read, but that is an 18-hour audiobook, and I do not want to start this round of this challenge with an 18-hour audiobook because that will wipe out any and all motivation for me to do well. So if I get Mordu, I will probably spin a second time to see if I can get something shorter, and then probably have 2 going at the same time, which is fine. Also, if I get a nonfiction book, we will be spinning a second time so that I can have a fiction audiobook at the same time. And it does not bother me to have multiple audiobooks going at once. That's kind of my norm. So that would not be the end of the world. That'd be just fine. All right, let's spin. I'm nervous. Okay. Oh! How did I know? Oh, you can't see that because my little record box is off, but I got The Examiner. Okay, so we are going to have to wait for that audiobook to come in from the library. Well, I won't wait. I'll start it. I'll see how it goes. Maybe it won't bother me too much, but that's kind of funny. Okay. Welcome to the video. Do I want to tell you what The Examiner is about? No, I'm going to start it and then I'll come back in and I'll talk to you when I know what's going on and don't have to rely on the publisher to tell me what's going on. Alright, not gonna lie, friends, I just woke up from a nap and I'm struggling to get my equilibrium again and I have to go make dinner, but I wanted to update you because I am, miracle of miracles, already 27% into The Examiner by Janice Hallett, and I just started it this morning, so feeling pretty good about myself right now. I think this has translated into audio so well. Now, we are following quite a few characters, and this is told primarily in like emails and text messages and essays. I feel like I'd obviously have to look at a physical copy, but I feel like they've done a really good job of not including extraneous text. So when it's text message chains or when it's a text message thread, there's a ding noise added whenever there's a new message, and there's a different narrator assigned for each character. So they're not repeating names. They did it at first to help you attach the name with the voice, but after that they stopped saying names in the text messages. And then for the private messages, they're just saying the characters' names at the top, and then once you get going, the production is just trusting that you will keep track of who is who. And so I am struggling just a teeny tiny bit. I know who all the women are. I'm getting the men a little confused. There's like 3 of them, maybe 4. Anyways, so this is about this cohort of students in this master's program, an arts, like an multimedia art master's program, basically. And so we're going between, we have the university professor, and then we have the students. I wish I could remember all the students' names. I am going to need to look at the book because I can't remember all of them. I know there's Jem, Patrick. Yeah, that's all I got. Anyways, so we're following all their messages through this app that the school has for the master's cohorts to use to communicate with each other. And so they can do private messages, there can be group threads, there's a diary feature, and so you're just going through all of them because at the beginning you're told that something bad happened, and the person in the book wants you, the reader, to read through the students' coursework, their essays, their messages, their emails, to see if we can find out who has died, or if somebody has died, because they're not even like, they don't even tell you concretely at the beginning, like if somebody has murdered, but a student may have been murdered. And so that's the setup for the book, and now we're just moving through it. It's an incredibly quick listen. The description or like the review from the bookseller on Libro FM calls it a page turner, and like even though it's on audio and there's no pages, I've been like purposely trying to find things to do around the house today so I can continue to listen because I want to know what's going to happen. I want to know what's going to happen. So it's incredibly compelling storytelling. There is one character who I would 100% hate, and I would kind of be okay if she's the one who was murdered, but I don't think she's the one who's going to get murdered. But like, I don't know, you just like, Janice Hallett has done such a good job of really like setting up who all these people are in the first 25%-ish of the book. So I'm having a great time, and I love that it's such a compelling listen. And yeah, I want to know what happened. So anyways, it's going great. Pretty pumped that this is the one that came up, and I can't wait to find out what happened, who's going down, all the things. It's really fun. This might make me a Janice Hallett fan, and then I'll have to go back and reread, or I'll have to go back and read all of her backlist. But we're off to a good start. I'm so excited. Okay, well, I just finished the Examiner in 2 days, which, that is exactly what I'm looking for from this project. That was so fun. I'm waffling between a 4 and a 4.5. First off, I loved the format. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but it took me a little while to get into it in an audiobook format, just because there's so many people, but having a different actor for each character definitely helped. I love this mixed media format. It's so fun. And I love the setting of it being at the art school. Look, none of these characters are likable. Nobody. They're all horrible people. It's just a varying spectrum of horrible, basically. I thought the mystery was really well done. There was a part towards the end where it felt a little convoluted and didn't fully make sense, even though all the dots were connected. Some of it felt a little bit like a reach, but it was so compulsively readable. I just kept finding things to do between yesterday and today so that I could continue to listen and find out what happened at the end. There was a twist. Okay, while it was a little convoluted, there was a twist that I did not see coming that was so good. It was so good. And I also like this setup of like, you know, somebody has probably died at the beginning of the book, and so then you're spending the pages leading up to the end trying to figure out which one of the students has died, if one of the students has died. And yeah, it was a really, really fun mystery. So I would definitely like it, or definitely recommend it if you like mixed media, books with mixed media, if you like unlikable characters, and if you want like, I don't know about dark academia, but if you want like a mystery set in an academic setting, it was so fun. And yeah, and I think the character work is really well done. Like the fact that nobody is likable, but they are not likable in very real world ways. Like it was so well done. She's so talented. Anyways, I was a big fan. I'm excited to read some more of her books now that I've read this one, and I know that I like Janice Hallett's writing style. So, such a good start to this episode. My gosh, I love it. An audiobook in 2 days. That is my idea of a good time. And I also really liked all the narrators. I thought all the narrators did a really good job, and I was a big fan. It was just so fun. All right, so I gotta take that off the list. We get to spin again. Love it. So excited. A little nervous. What would I want to get this time? Also, let me pull it over. Oh, hold please. My computer decided to die. I wonder if it's on. No. Okay. Hold please. I have to go get my charger. Okay. Now, what do I want next? That's always the question. Now that I got everything squared away. I'd love to read the new Nevo. I love the Singing Hill Cycle books. I would love to read that. I think the Pumpkin Spice Cafe could be fun. The Third Gilmore Girl, that could be fun. So Thirsty might also be a good time. It's got vampires. It's Rachel Harrison. I haven't read her before, so I've got so many options. So let's go ahead and spin and we'll see what I get. And hopefully it's not the 18-hour audiobook. Oh, it was almost Teaking Fisher. Okay, People Collide. All right, I don't know anything about this book or anything about this author, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and I'll come back when I know more, which will probably be at some point tomorrow.
At 29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you.
Hi all, I need to leave in like 10 minutes to pick my youngest up from school, but holy hell, I need caffeine. Also, I made an appointment to get my bangs trimmed on Friday. Thank goodness. I'm gonna have her trim them shorter than when she cut them because it's only been a month, not even a month, and they're driving me crazy. They're too long. And it's currently 81 degrees here today, but I really want leek and potato soup, so that's what I went to the store to get, and I'm really excited about it, even though it's gonna be probably too hot for soup season to officially start, but I'm also gonna make grilled cheese sandwiches to go with them, and I cannot wait for dinner. And if my kids complain, that's it. Anyways, let's make an iced coffee for me to bring in the car. Do I want it in this, or do I have any iced coffee cups that will fit in my cup holder. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about People Collide. I listened to 16%, 19%, something this morning. It's a quick audiobook. Love that. Is this the year where lit fic books are my favorite books at the end of the year? Because it's reminding me of Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. Not in tone or in plot or in characters or anything, just in that it's like a romantic lit fic book. Though I think this one is going to be more about exploration of gender and how you relate to the gender, both that you feel and that the world perceives you as. Anyways, let me go get ice. So we start off this book meeting Eli. And Eli and his wife Elizabeth are living in Budapest? I'm gonna go with yes. And they're living in Budapest because Elizabeth has a job as a teacher at this high school where she teaches teens about American culture, and Eli is just there because he's her spouse and he just tagged along. They're both writers, though Elizabeth is much more successful than Eli, and we start in Eli's point of view and we get kind of his experience living in Budapest so far. God, I hope I'm saying the right city. I will put something up if I'm wrong. And so anyways, Eli leaves their very small apartment and he is on his way to meet Elizabeth at work because every afternoon he goes and he hangs out in her classroom. And he gets to the school and her boss is in her classroom and Elizabeth isn't there. And her boss is like, where have you been? I've been teaching your class all day. And Eli was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I usually come in the afternoon. Anyways, come to find out that somehow, somewhere along the way, Eli and Elizabeth have switched bodies. And in the meantime, Elizabeth has also disappeared. Or Eli's body with Elizabeth in it has disappeared. And Eli doesn't know she is and is trying to navigate the world as Elizabeth without anybody figuring out that there's something awry. And I'm loving the writing so far. I think Kyle McElroy is really funny. And the way they write in Eli's point of view is really funny. I paused the audiobook to write down a couple quotes this morning because I just thought they were so funny. The first one they're both from Eli's perspective, but the first one was Eli was like, I love to lounge. I love to waste time. I love to treat myself when no treats have been earned. Same, Eli. Just same. So the section after Eli figured out he's in the wrong body was Eli and Elizabeth going back and forth talking about their childhoods and how they were raised, which is told, like, Eli's perspective so far has been in first person and it's got dual narrators, and like the section about their childhoods was told using those two narrators, but in a removed way. But I don't think it was strictly, maybe it was third person. Maybe that part did switch to third person. And now we're back to Eli in the present day, trying to continue relationships with both of their mothers without letting them know that anything's wrong. And so right now they both think that Eli has just abandoned Elizabeth. And the other quote that I really like is Eli, this was when it was talking about his past, so it must have been third person, because the other quote was, he lived without ambition the way slugs live without shells. I just thought that was funny. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but I thought it was funny and I'm having a really good time. The writing's, like I said, the writing's really good. I'm really interested in what's happening. I thought Kyle McElroy has introduced these two characters so well, and I have so much intrigue about what is going to happen next and where we are going to go from here. So we're off to a really good start. Good morning, friends. So I didn't update you at all yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a wash. I was really tired. I wasn't really in the mood to listen to audiobooks, and it was like a fully unproductive day, which is fine. Sometimes you need those days. I even took a nap yesterday, and I am not a napper, but suddenly this week, like, that's how tired I am finding myself taking like 20-minute naps in the afternoon. Anyways, neither here nor there. I am now 72% into People Collide, and my enthrallment with this audiobook and the story has waned quite a bit. I am finding Eli and like Eli in Elizabeth's body to be pretentious and annoying, and the exploration of gender hasn't gone where I thought it was going to go. So Eli, through the pressure of his mom and Elizabeth's mom, ends up going to Paris because everybody believes Eli has abandoned Elizabeth. I have to keep everyone straight now that we were switched bodies. And Eli's mom contacts Eli to say that Eli has used his emergency credit card that she can see in Paris. And so she books a hotel room for him in Paris and basically like forces him to go to look for himself. So he gets there and he's like milling around. He's not really trying to look for Elizabeth. It's pretty, it's pretty half-assed and it's kind of boring, honestly. And he's observing the different ways Elizabeth's body is perceived in the world than his body, but not in any way that is interesting or profound or feels like it has a point to it. So, and then he does, I don't feel like this is a spoiler. I mean, obviously he has to find Elizabeth. So he does find Elizabeth. And there's a sex scene that was really weird and off-putting, and I didn't like it at all in any way, shape, or form. And so I just don't know if the book is doing, I guess, A, what I expected it to do, or B, what I feel like it should be doing based off of what the synopsis says. So not loving it, but I only have an hour left, so we'll see where I land when I'm finished. Okay, I think I hated that. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. There were no realizations, no anything. It was just these people who are all kind of horrible and very unlikable, thinking about things, but doing nothing about it. It was bizarre. I didn't like it. Especially the farther it went on, the less I liked it. We got to a point where Eli in Elizabeth's body goes back to, I think I said they were in Budapest. They're in Bulgaria. So sorry about that. They're in Bulgaria. So Eli in Elizabeth's body goes back because Elizabeth's parents have flown in to be with her. And like Eli meets up with them and her parents are horrible. It's like so horrible. We spend a whole chapter, which was like 45 minutes on audio, of Elizabeth's parents just having this really weird, tense, passive-aggressive fight in the restaurant about like this dead girl that Elizabeth's dad was engaged to when he was in his 20s. And then the last chapter switches to Elizabeth's mother's perspective, and I hated her. Like, I don't know. It was just, it felt like such a waste of time. And it didn't do anything. Like, it didn't do any reveals. Like, there weren't any, like, I don't know. I just didn't see the discussion about the fluidity of gender. And yeah, I just like all this stuff that the synopsis talked about. I didn't see any of that conversation in the book. It was just these kind of horrible, narcissistic people continuing to be horrible and narcissistic with no character growth, with no awareness, with no agency. It was, yeah. So, not for me. I'm going to give it 2 stars. I didn't like it. There's like one part where Eli tries to tell somebody that he is a man in a woman's body. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I worked with somebody who was a man but then was a woman or something like that. And it was just like, that was the closest we got to any like acknowledgement of like anything. And that's not even like how like trans people see themselves. So that language didn't even make sense. At least for the trans people that I know, that's not how they see themselves. So it was just, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. So thank God that's over. That really took a sharp left turn really quick. I was so enamored at the beginning of the book, and then, yeah, I just didn't like it. So not only am I gonna delete the files from my Libro.fm, I am also gonna archive this audiobook because I don't want to listen to it ever again. I'm never gonna want to listen to that ever again. But now we get to spin, and hopefully I get something else. Also, this is kind of why I don't really read lit fic very often, because when it hits hard, but for the most part, it's not for me. All right, let's do this again. I would really like a cozy book for this next pick. Something like, I think I've said it before, but Pumpkin Spice Cafe could be fun. Or I don't want the Vaster Wilds. I don't want another lit fic. I would even take nonfiction, like Before We Were Trans or Making Love with the Land. That would be cool. So we'll see. Let's see. Okay. We're going to spin. Let's see what pops up. Hopefully something that I like way more than that book. Perfect. Oh, okay. So this is Illuminations. This is T. Kingfisher. That was so nice. Such a nice choice from the wheel. I'm so excited. That will be great. So I'm actually going to download that and start it now, I guess. I have some chores I need to do. I still want to work out today, but I need my lunch to digest a little bit more before I do that. But I still have a good 2 hours before I have to go pick up my youngest from school. So I've got some time. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and start Illuminations, and I'll update you. But I have something to say. Okay, I'm 24% of the way into Illuminations, and this is so, like, everything I love about T. Kingfisher. This is kind of like Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, where it really kind of straddles that gap between middle grade and YA. Rosa, our main character, is like 11, almost 12, and so we have a really young protagonist, but I feel like the writing is elevated enough that like a young YA reader could also enjoy it as well, or an adult woman like myself who really loves T. Kingfisher. But it's, you know, she's got, what is going on? I'm getting them cut day after tomorrow, and I can't get them trimmed because they're driving me bananas. Anyways, so Rose is our main character, and she is a part of this artistic family, and in this little fantasy world there are magic spells called illuminations, which are basically paintings that artists can do that have spells contained in them. But there's very specific paintings you do for very specific actions. So if you want to make sure your house doesn't have any mice in it, or you want to get rid of mice, and there's a really specific illumination that needs to be painted for that. So there's all these different things that can be done. And Rosa's family has a long history of being artists who are commissioned to do this, but her family is kind of not falling on hard times, but I guess falling in popularity as artists. They don't get as many commissions as they used to, and that's really hard for Rosa to see and understand. I don't know if they said what happened to her parents. Her parents aren't around. She lives with her grandmother and her aunts and her uncles. And at the beginning, her uncle sends her into the attic to look for this stuffed armadillo, and she's going in, and every time she opens up a closet and is looking through the shelves, suddenly she finds herself back over across the room, and she can't really remember what she's doing. And so she comes to realize that there's an illumination on one of the boxes that distracts her, and she really wants to know why. And so she decides to blindfold herself and go in so that she can't see the illumination on the box. But in going in, she accidentally opens up the wrong box and releases a scareline, which is like a monster creature. And then this crow, whose picture was on the box that had the illumination that kept distracting her, comes out, and his name is Pain. And he was put in the box a long time ago. And then I think they're going to band together with like her ex-best friend to capture the scareling. So it's a good time. I think T. Kingfisher does an excellent animal companion, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. And it's just such a comfort read for me. I just love her writing. I love her humor. She does an excellent animal companion, though I really hope that armadillo comes back around, because also there's an armadillo on the cover. So far I just have a crow, so I'm holding out for the armadillo, hopefully. All right, I have to now brave this rain to go pick up my youngest from school. And I don't love having to wait in the rain to pick them up, but I do love that it's raining. My soul needed this. The 81-degree day and yesterday it being 87, that heat was just taking it out of me, and this feels so nice. I know I'll be complaining about the rain by January, but for right now, it's lovely. I'm so glad it's here. Hello, friends. I am gathering up library books to take back before I go pick my youngest up from school, and then they are coming to work with me today because the twins have auditions for Christmas Carol because it is officially fall playtime. But sentence was correct, but it didn't convey what exactly is happening. Anyways, but I need to update you at the same time. So where can I put you? Okay, I think that will work while I put library books back in the bag. Anyways, I am 62% into eliminations. So that is the good news. I have like an hour and a half left. The bad news is I definitely dozed off just like a teeny tiny bit while I was listening this afternoon. I have been so tired this week to the point where I think I mentioned this already, but I've been napping. I'm not a napper, and they're just 15-minute naps, but I'm taking the time to nap in the afternoon, which is really unusual, but I've just been so tired I don't even know what else to do about it. So I've just been napping. Is it helping? I have no idea because I'm still tired, but just trying to get through. Okay. And let's go back to T. Kingfisher. So yes, I did unfortunately snooze a little bit, and the problem is that I can't even tell you what I missed, if I even missed anything. Like I suspect that I dozed off, but I don't know like for certain if I did, where like you kind of close your eyes, but then you open them again and it feels like it was really fast. And so I don't know what I've missed. I don't know if I should go backwards. I don't even know where I should go back to. And I don't even really know if it matters that I missed stuff. But Rosa's ex-best friend has finally entered the book, and now Rosa and Serena, I think that's her name, and Payne the Crow have started working together to try to defeat the Scareling, which apparently looks like a radish? A carrot? Oh, it must look like a carrot. Yeah, because it's like a mandrake root type of situation. I think it's one of those T. Kingfishers. She, even though I love her and she's one of my favorite authors, she really swings like back and forth on the scale for me. I have given her 5 stars. I have given her 3.5 stars, and I've given her everything in between. And some of her books, like when they hit so hard. And there are other times where they're just fine and they're not my favorite. And I think this one falls into that category. Also, I think I mentioned an armadillo being on the cover for this one, and no, it's clearly a crow with a paintbrush, which makes sense. I was mixing it up with the cover for Minor Mage, which I believe is set in the same world and has similar things going on, but obviously we have a different animal companion for that book. So anyways, this one's going great. I think it's setting up to be like a 3.75 right now, and that's okay. I think that's about what I gave A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. Again, not my favorite, but like not offensive, like enjoyable, just not anything that I'm gonna go out of my way to recommend or talk about after I'm done reading it. Again, the rest of the afternoon's gonna be busy. I'm about to go pick up E, and then we'll go to work. Well, we'll go to the library because we have a little bit of time to kill. Not enough time to like actually come home and do anything, but I figured we'll go to the library. I'll drop off some books. We have some holds to pick up. E will want to get more books. We'll go to work, and then we'll come home, and then tomorrow's my day off. I'm so excited. And I'm hoping to finish Illuminations tomorrow morning, like actually wake up early and finish it tomorrow morning. Also, I was telling my husband this last night, but every time I say Illuminations, I just, in my head, say it the way the Minions say it in front of DreamWorks movies. Illumination! Basically, that's every time. So that's my gift to you. Okay. I will see y'all tomorrow. right, friends, it's 10 o'clock at night, but I finished Illuminations, and that was a solid 4-star. I really liked it, especially once I was like awake enough to actually take in the story. I really liked Rosa's family dynamic. She does such a good job at writing non-traditional family structures. Payne the Crow was definitely the highlight. Again, she does so good with the animal companions. The stuffed armadillo continued to be mentioned, so now I am interested in picking up Minor Mage. I'm also so tempted to reread Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking to see how these books are connected. They might not be connected at all. I just feel like because the cover art is so similar that there must be some connection. And there was a comment or an observation Rosa made about one of her uncles named Marco, and I wondered if it was like a callback or an Easter egg to A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, but it's been 2 years, 3 years since I read that book, so I just can't remember anymore. I really liked it. It did get very adventure-y, very action-packed towards the end. I think if you have read A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking and you liked the inanimate object avatar type thing with the gingerbread men, then you will like what T. Kingfisher does with the radishes in this one. That was really fun. I have new appreciation for radishes now. I'm not artistic at all. I have very, very basic art skills and almost no drawing skills, but I am tempted to draw a radish now and see if I can. Anyways, so yeah, it was great. Good time. And now I need tomorrow to be a very productive day. The most productive day I've ever had in my life. And it feels a little bit like playing Russian roulette, but I'm gonna spin one more time and do one more audiobook. I feel like I am really tempting fate right now, but I need something tomorrow because I have so much to get done. I need an audiobook for it. So, but let's spin and we'll see what happens. Oh, not the wheel stuttering out. Did I get nonfiction? Yay! I wanted another nonfiction for this month. Yale Needs Women. All right. Do I remember what this one is about? Yale needing women is my my assumption. How the first group of girls rewrote the rules for an Ivy League giant. Okay. It says in the winter of 1969, from big cities to small town, young women across the country sent in applications to Yale University for the first time. All right, then. I think this will be good company for getting all my stuff done tomorrow. It's just under 10 hours, which will probably be about 5 hours on audio if I'm able to listen to it at 2 times speed. So definitely something I could listen to in 2 days. And this will be our last book for the vlog. So I think we'll see. Yeah, this will be the last one. Okay, cool. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hello. I know this is the exact same shot I had last night. I promise it's the next day. I already went to the store. As you saw, I got the groceries. I have to go put them away. It's currently 8:45. My hair appointment's at 11. So the plan is to get the groceries put away and do as much house cleaning as I can. I'm going to start in this room and then just systematically work my way through each room of the house and do like a really quick tidy. I don't want to get too much into the weeds. It's not like a deep clean, but it needs to be like I don't know what word I want. But it's not deep cleaning. It's just like I don't know, clean so that my brain doesn't explode from the clutter. That's what we're doing. I don't know why I messed with my bangs. I should have just left them alone. It's only a few more hours. Okay, I did listen to Yale Needs Women at the grocery store this morning. And also like while I was packing lunches and stuff. So I'm 18% of the way in. I know I said it when I was reading the synopsis last night, but it truly didn't click until I was listening to it this morning. That Yale didn't admit women until 1969? That is wild. Wild. Not surprising, but wild. The first chapter was talking about what led up to Yale admitting women and the history of what other Ivy League schools were admitting women at that time and which ones were still mostly a boys' club, and the politics around Yale admitting women. The dean at the time, while he was really progressive in accepting men of color and Jewish students, was really resistant to admitting women, which struck a lot of the students as odd because he was so progressive in so many other ways, and it felt like a real outlier for this to be where he drew the line. So it was talking about all the things students did to institute this change. And then the author, I forgot her name already, Anne Gardner Perkins, interviewed, I think she said 40 women who were in this first class at Yale. And so it's a mix of all their stories weaved together. So now I'm on the chapter where it's it's their first day at Harvard, or it's their first, I keep saying Harvard, oh God, it's their first day at Yale. And so it's like move-in day, what that experience was like, some snapshots of a few of the women that she's interviewed, of where they were coming from, what their interests were, what their hopes were in choosing to come to Yale. Because some of them were coming straight from high school, but others were transferring as sophomores or juniors and had gone to a women's college or an integrated college. Is that the right word? Anyways. And yeah, so it's very interesting, very well written, so far impeccably researched, and very frustrating, as I'm sure you can imagine. And I'm sure you can guess the reasons why it is frustrating. But I am finding it really interesting. It's like listening to a long podcast, which I love. So I'm going to put my headphones on and continue to listen while I clean. And if I keep listening at the speed I'm at, Libro says I'll finish in 4 hours. That could be a time. I could also listen to it for 2 more hours today and then finish the rest of it tomorrow. It doesn't need to be a read in one day type of situation. But wouldn't that be wild time if I read a nonfiction book all in one day? That is not usually my MO. I usually read nonfiction super slow, like magical realism, which I started how many weeks ago, and I'm still only halfway through. Not because it's not good, but just because I'm slow nonfiction reader. But I guess I better stop yapping and get on with my to-do list. Home. I've got my bangs trimmed, thank goodness. I got my little treat that you saw, and I'm 54. I just looked. Why can't I remember? 58% of the way through Yale Needs Women. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. The phrase that keeps going through my head as I listen to this book is, the more things change, the more things stay the same. The things that were going on in 1969 and 1970 and 1971 around Yale and the admittance of women, it's all stuff we're still talking about. You know, there's the way men treat women, which there are, like, obviously trigger warning for sexual assault, all right, because you know that once women were admitted, men just had to be gross about it. And there was a real lackadaisical approach to the safety of female students on the Yale campus. Like, a lot of the female dorms and bathrooms didn't have locks, and so not even students, but like random men from the neighborhood would just walk into the bathrooms while the women were showering. And then the campus security and administration did nothing about it for a really long time. It is very gross. And of course, professors being disgusting towards their female students. But now I'm into 1970, 1971, and there have been students protesting Vietnam, students protesting the treatment of people in the Black Panther movement, just students protesting how, like, the women students are treated. And those protesters are being responded to the same way people in power still respond to peaceful protests. Like, there's horrific police brutality and police having a gross over-exaggeration to protesting. There's the response of the protesters being made out to be these militant groups when in fact they're very peaceful and very respectful. And I love reading history books, and specifically American, like factual American history books, but I always get so frustrated because it feels like we have learned nothing from the past. It just happens, and there's no learning from it. So I find that part really frustrating, because I don't know, I would like to think I am a person who learns from my actions, and once you know better, you do better. And I just feel like we don't learn, like, collectively. We do not learn from history. Yeah, not a relaxing book, but again, very interesting, very well written, very well researched, and it's so easy to just keep listening. Like, it was a breeze to listen to while I was cleaning before my haircut. So now that I'm home, I'm gonna have my little treat and drink some coffee. I'm gonna relax for maybe 30 minutes. It's just after 11:30 right now. And then at noon, I get a 30-minute break basically, and then I gotta keep cleaning. I still have to do my room, and hopefully my laundry is done in the dryer by now, or will be shortly. So at noon, I'll go tackle my room. Not gonna clean the kids' bedrooms. They're gonna do that this weekend, and then I might work out. I don't know. I'm still tired. Like, I feel good, but I am tired. And I feel like the easiest thing to cut out of my schedule to give myself a chance to rest is exercise. But then I really like how I feel after I'm done exercising. So I don't know. Exercise has a question mark next to it. We'll see how I feel after I have my carrot cake, my coffee, and I clean my room. Game that I had called Becca's Monopoly, which is of course inspired by Monopoly. This one is a Halloween version, and the way that you... Look at this! Not only do we have a new location, yay me, I also finished Yale Needs Women, surprisingly, in one day! I'm giving it 5 stars, obviously, clearly. It continued to be very well written, incredibly researched, very, very frustrating. So, just look out for that. Lots of misogyny, lots of sexism, just lots of all the isms. But again, so well written, and still, sadly, very, very relevant, I think. Also, the timing of reading this is very interesting because the twins and I have started watching Gilmore Girls because it was like one of my comfort shows growing up. I mean, I was in high school when it started airing, so I watched it all through high school and college, and it's a show that my sister and my mom and I liked to rewatch together, and I'm now watching it with the twins, so it's their first time seeing it, and I haven't rewatched it in a really long time. And it's one of those shows where I can see the problematic content so clearly, but I still have a lot of affection for the show, even with all the problematic elements. So anyways, it was very interesting to read this book about Yale's history of including women just about the time that the twins and I are watching Gilmore Girls. And like I said, we're only 2 episodes in, so we're so many episodes away from Rory being at Yale, but I just found it very, very interesting the way those two things kind of converged. So with that, we are going to wrap up what I think is the most successful episode of Wheel of Doom I've ever had. Maybe. I read 4 books. We had 0 DNFs. Granted, I had one that I didn't like. I gave People Collide a 2-star, so that was definitely a flop. But I really liked The Examiner, which was a fun surprise. So now I have more Janice Hallett books to check out. Of course, Teen Kingfisher with Illuminations is always a good time, and a 5-star nonfiction. Like, what more do I need? So with that, we're going to end this video. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on the books that I read in this vlog, if you've read any of them, if you have any interest in them, any thoughts, feelings, etc. And if you want to leave an emoji to let me know you were here, let's do a raven emoji, a crow emoji. What do we have? There is a raven. So the same emoji shows up for raven or crow. Okay, so I'll get to choose. You can either do the paint palette emoji or the crow/raven emoji. I will accept both of those choices. And otherwise, if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Bye!